What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we have a lot of updates regarding stimulus, and I want to provide you with a full breakdown of what we heard just this afternoon. First, Nancy Pelosi, she spoke today and she says that on Monday, not today, but she's going to take the weekend, and on Monday, she will begin working on the specifics of the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. She also went on to say that she hopes that the stimulus package will be ready to send over to the Senate within the next 2 weeks. However, that's very unlikely. That is a quick turnaround, and most experts, after she said this, are questioning her timeline. Now, I don't want to say she is wrong. She holds a very high position. She should know how long it's going to take. However, 2 weeks to do all of this and get the committees on board is a very quick turnaround. She even went on to say that she hopes that this will be done by March 15th or much earlier than March 15th. But now reporters are pretty much ragging on her, saying that, well, if she says much earlier than March 15th, she probably means March 14th. However, we will see what happens. We know we can't take the words that all these politicians give us. Just because they say March 14th does not mean it's actually going to happen. We've heard this before. We've seen, oh yeah, the deadline's this Friday. It's coming up. We have this Friday to get it done. And then, we're going to push it back a week. We're going to push it back 3 days. We're going to push it back a month. So we can't always believe what we're told. Now, Nancy Pelosi did go on and say, and I quote, "We hope to be able to put vaccines in people's arms, money in people's pockets, children safely in schools, and workers in their jobs." But again, we can't always listen and take what they say as this is exactly what's going to happen. Again, these are politics. We have to understand what the game is currently being played. But even Jen Psaki and President Biden both reiterated that this must get done quickly and be big. We've heard Nancy Pelosi say this before. It needs to be bigger, better, and it needs to be retroactive. However, it was none of that. So, President Biden and Jen Psaki both stated that we can't wait months to get this stimulus package passed. This must get done quickly before unemployment runs out, which we all know unemployment runs out on March 14th. Many economists, many experts, many people, many lawmakers are currently saying the current deadline is March 14th. That's the deadline. However, some people are saying that just because this is a deadline doesn't mean anything because Congress works so slow. So just keep that in mind. Yes, we are getting an additional $1,400 stimulus check. Who gets it and when we get it, we don't know. We will be getting more unemployment benefits. It will be for $400 per week. As far as the length, we currently don't know. And when will it start? Again, it depends on when this bill passes. So we know that's coming. We know vaccine funding is going to come. We know there's going to be more rental assistance. There's going to be mortgage forbearance. We know there's funding for schools, state and local governments. There's so much funding. $1.9 trillion in additional funding will be coming our way. However, it could take a little bit of time. Now, during the press conference this morning, there was a lot of stuff said, or a lot of stuff being talked about. And again, I don't want to go over the exact same stuff that I've been talking about for the last week, because a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about is the exact same stuff Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Jen Psaki all said. So I don't want to bore you with the exact same details. If you want to go and see exactly what's happened, what has kind of transpired over the past week, go and watch some of those videos. I will link to some of those down in the description box below. But here's what we do know. We do know the $1,400 stimulus checks will be in this $1.9 trillion package. Again, when it comes, who receives it, we don't know. Nancy Pelosi stated that the $1,400 stimulus checks, along with the $600 checks that many people already received, and I know some people are still waiting, which is just mind-boggling why it's taking so long, but some people are waiting. But Nancy Pelosi stated that this will be the highest these checks will go. Some people are also saying that there will be no additional stimulus check after this package is over. So if we see $1,400 stimulus checks in this package, that will most likely be it. We will not see another stimulus check unless for some unforeseen reason the pandemic worsens, maybe in the fall or winter of this coming year. So I do not expect there's going to be another stimulus check unless stimulus checks are sent out to people for children and families, which are still considered stimulus checks. So we will see what happens there. But right now, this will be the last stimulus check I think we are going to talk about, because this will most likely be it. There could be other things, but it most likely will not be a stimulus check going to every single American. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. Now, I want to read you a statement that was made by President Biden. I think this is a pretty big statement. He says, "If I have to choose between getting help right now to Americans who are hurting so badly and getting bogged down in a lengthy negotiation or compromising on a bill that's up to the crisis, that's an easy choice. I'm going to help the American people who are hurting now. What Republicans have proposed is either to do nothing or not enough." And we know this. So what we know is that Republicans want to counter, and they tried to counter, but it was not enough to really move the needle or make anything happen. Jen Psaki stated today that if Republicans want to counter the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, that President Biden will obviously listen to their proposal and any offers that they provide. But as you recall, we went over the $618 billion stimulus package that Republicans, or this group of GOP senators, were proposing. And it fell way short of what Democrats wanted. And it ultimately led to President Biden saying to Democrats, let's move forward with the budget reconciliation, because he knew they were just too far apart. But what we are hearing from multiple reporters is that Democrats would likely come down off their $1.9 trillion stimulus package to roughly $1.5 trillion if Republicans propose something that was bipartisan. But as you remember, I stated this I think earlier this week and last week, is that reports are stating that Mitch McConnell wants to see a budget reconciliation because this is actually going to help Republicans moving forward. Also, by using a budget reconciliation at this point, it will take away one of those budget reconciliations from Democrats. So now instead of having 9 moving forward, they will only have 8 for the next 2 years. And that, according to Republicans, is a win. Now, it's because of this that we will most likely not see Mitch McConnell propose any type of stimulus package. And chances are we won't see Republicans propose something that even comes close to what President Biden and Democrats are willing to accept. Again, some reports are stating they would accept, $1.5 to $1.6 trillion if it's bipartisan, if it comes with state and local government funding, vaccine funding, additional stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, rental assistance, and things like that. Obviously, school funding as well. But you get the idea. So right now, what we're being told is that if Republicans come back with a better offer than $618 billion, some are saying they need to exceed $1 trillion. If that happens before the budget reconciliation passes, we could potentially see a smaller stimulus package. However, stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, and vaccine funding are the 3 pillars of this package, and those have to be in whatever package Republicans want to offer. And at this time, President Biden is saying, times like this, we need to provide bigger and more bold relief to the American people. Some top economists say that the economy has stalled, and something big has to happen to see us get back to pre-pandemic levels. Some are even saying that the last 3 months, we have had 3 very disappointing months in a row. So something major needs to happen and get passed quickly. However, some senators are pushing back against the $1.9 trillion stimulus package because it is not bipartisan. Mainly Republicans, but there are some Democrats that are pushing against it, saying we shouldn't do this. Joe Manchin is one of those people. However, Democrats are willing to set aside their differences in passing a bipartisan stimulus package simply because they say this is for the good of the country and the good of the American people. So I thank them for that, but to go at a bill without any Republican support, if Republicans win the Senate and the House in 2 years, we're gonna see a lot of issues. We're gonna see them trying to push anything through, and President Biden is gonna have a very difficult time getting any of his priorities pretty much on the agenda or schedule. So we'll see what happens there. We're still 2 years away, but it is something that we need to be worried about. Also, Senate Republican Shelley Capito said, and I quote, We were ready and willing to work together with Democrats and the White House to get COVID under control, kickstart America's economy, and ensure our kids return back to the education they deserve. We offered an alternative to the president that meets our recovery needs while remaining fiscally responsible. Democrats ignored it, refusing to work across the aisle. Now, I laugh because she says that we offered an alternative to the president. Now, it was an alternative. It was an honest alternative. However, it didn't meet the needs at all. It came woefully short on many occasions. They wanted to pretty much give just a small amount of people a stimulus check. Well, what they were proposing is to make sure President Biden looked like a liar. And again, I'm not trying to take sides. I'm not trying to take Democrat sides. But Republicans need to come back with something bigger. It needs to be closer to $1 trillion. Some are saying it has to exceed $1 trillion to even be considered by Democrats. So even though she states that Democrats ignored it, refusing to work across the aisle, President Biden didn't ignore him. He didn't ignore him. He asked them to come into the White House. Let's talk. And so on that, it's like, okay, yes, we kind of ignored your proposal, but we talked about it, we spoke. So right now, they can't be too upset. They had their time. They had their sit down. It was a face-to-face as well, not a virtual. So that's pretty big on President Biden as well. But as we already know, the $618 billion stimulus package was not enough to move the needle for President Biden. He was not impressed. It is because of this that the chances of a bipartisan stimulus package happening at this point is seen as very unlikely unless Republicans decide to come up from their $618 billion offer. So right now, we are going to see a budget reconciliation. However, it will most likely take at least a few weeks to even see this bill. It will probably take another week or two to get this passed. So we might not see stimulus until the end of March, possibly the first couple of weeks of April. Now, I just want you to understand that if this is to pass the House and the Senate in the middle of March, again, the IRS says they can start sending out checks within 1 week. That's great. Janet Yellen said this exact same thing. How about 1 week and we start sending out stimulus checks? That's the same thing that Steve Mnuchin said. That was exactly what we saw happen with the $600 stimulus checks, yet some people have still yet to receive them. But due to the fact that tax returns are all due on April 15th, here's the issue that we're hearing. We could either see stimulus checks take longer to actually send out to millions and millions of Americans, or we could see tax returns take longer to process. So here's what we are currently being recommended. If you are supposed to get your tax return, you're supposed to get some money back or tax refund, then file your taxes as quickly as possible, because this will ensure that no matter when we see a stimulus check come, you will at least get your tax return and the refund filed, processed, and you will get that money. But if you wait too long and you wait in the couple weeks, maybe even a month that we are sending out stimulus checks, you could see a delay in your processing. So if you want to get the most money possible, you're going to get a tax refund, process your taxes quickly, or get them filed as quickly as possible so they can get processed a little bit faster, so they're not pretty much conflicting at the exact same time with stimulus checks. That's what we're hearing. So again, if you're getting a tax return and getting a refund, file soon. So that's what we're hearing right now regarding stimulus and regarding taxes. So if you have any questions on any of this stuff, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Also, I'll put a link down in the description box below. A lot of people have been asking, is now the right time to invest in the stock market? I think now is an incredible time. But here's the cool thing with WEBULL. If you sign up with WEBULL, I'll put a link down in the description box below. You sign up, deposit just $100. $100, they will give you 4 free stocks, I think valued up to like $3,700. So it's a pretty good deal. Go and check it out if you want to. Also consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.